Hi, good morning. So my name is Claude Nogard. I'm the CEO of Ergosuture. Before starting, I would like to give a shout out to Scott and his team. We were there last year and we all faced COVID. But when I came here to raise funds and find strategic partners, what I was not expecting is to find other startups that had a product that would complement what we do. So for example, yesterday we met with Innovators, a company that is moving the simulation training into 21st century. And then is a solution that we have been looking for to show investors and partners that our product is tremendously better than anything else. And here it is. So why are we here today? Ergosuture was founded on one principle. We are falling short of about 143 million surgeries every year. And the main reason behind access is the lack of surgeons. And our key philosophy at Ergosuture is to develop technologies that will enable surgeons to do more with less. Do it easier, better, faster, but also enable non-surgeons to do a similar job. So we are focusing right now into a market which is wound closure device. We'll be launching initially into the laparoscopic market, which is quite unfulfilled, and eventually launch into what we call high suture-proof market, which is EMTs, medical field hospitals, and others. Okay. So why are we looking at laparoscopic surgery? Very simple. It was transformational when it came 30 years ago. Unfortunately, this technology has basically slowly left out because it's very difficult to suture. And devices that have been developed 30 years ago haven't evolved. Studies, for example, have shown that 56% of fellows cannot suture still. So we have developed technologies, the robot, for example, or the endostitch. All of them came with tremendous benefit, but also tremendous complexity, from cost to training and so on and so forth. So the key objective, and we have done market research, was to find a solution that surgeons are always asking for, which is better ergonomic, faster learning curve, and easier to manipulate. So here our solution, the drive and roll, which is the first roller-based suturing system, which is a 510K device, class 2, that is a widthless suturing system. It will cater initially general surgery, urology, and gynecology. So this is the model you see here in our first iteration, which is mechanical. We built it this way because we wanted it to be familiar. And that's something we've done with surgeons. For example, you will see that our distal end is not wisted. And that's something that people don't think about, but studies have shown that novices learning to suture with a wisted instrument tend to block their vision field. So it's creating errors that is basically translating into longer training time. We also have built a system that is straightforward for surgeons. They can use it as a normal driver. So if you don't activate the rollers, you can actually leverage your learning, your experience, your muscle memory. But if you use the rollers, then you realize that you can do things you cannot even do with a robot, which is properly driving the needle in the arc without tearing the tissues. So there's a safety component. There is a speed component, but there is also an ease of mind component for the surgeon. And so what we have right now is a platform that is primarily targeting laparoscopic surgery, bariatric. And contrary to many companies, we are not improving the product for the experts. We're actually working with non-experts. Our objective is to raise the proficiency level across hospitals, and that's the key here. But our technology can be used in robotic and also in basically open surgery. So it's the first time providing surgeons, hospitals, one technology, one suturing technique that they can use across all platforms. And so this is very much the solution we provide. But now our solution was not optimal for experts. So we started working with them and found out that needles were not optimized to be rolled. And then we came up with a new solution, which is the X needle. And if you want to look at it, I invite you to go across the world to see our booth. This is a new system, the first new needle in 50 years. It's basically an hybrid between a half-circle needle and a J-shaped needles. And it can bend. It allows you to do something simple as basically anchoring a hernia mesh without working your wrist. For those of you who know how that works, you realize the following. Is you have a system right now that is coming that will be composed of a handle that you can use for more than 200 surgeries with sterilization. You can attach that different needle distal end for open, bariatric, and laparoscopic. And you do that primarily because you want to provide to surgeons a solution that will be cheaper to produce, easier to use. But eventually, we're considering that we need to go into surgeons that are basically using the device the entire day. So there is a workload level. So we're going to move into our semi-automated systems and eventually to a robot. And that's very much what we propose to date. So I talked to you about the solution, hernia repair, for example. It's a $1 billion market that is growing very fast. It's a solution that right now you use either in open surgery, using tackers, and more the robot. And as a comparison, if you use our device. This is for one clinic, and we could actually challenge that. But you will see that the price of a surgical tray using our needles and our device is half. And you will see some asterisks. For example, the grasper. This grasper is a reusable device I could have taken out, and you would see really the price point that we offer. So without basically looking at cost effectiveness, without looking at training, this is very much what we provide to hospitals. So how do we compare to other products? It's the first platform that you can use across all surgical platforms. It's also the only one that allows surgeons to use their own needles if they desire. But we also have our needles that allow them to do things they would not be to do otherwise, which is tremendously well and has been vetted in market research. And more importantly, the price point. This platform is allowing the hospitals to actually manage their budget. And as I mentioned to you, we are focusing on access. How can we leverage that? So we have built a team that is quite experienced. We have more than 20 years in average. We have been involved in multiple ventures. The team has raised more than $150 million over time. You might have met Maggie, who is our VP for digital marketing, that is out there. You also met Luis, Dr. Almodovar, who is the inventor of the Jarven roll. And so from a traction standpoint, the legacy company have raised 85% of their funding with surgeons. So whenever investors ask me, what is the traction that you have? How do you know that will work? We have surgeons that invested $250,000 in the concept. And if this is not traction enough, I don't know what it is. We have more than 20 patents filed in the US and ex-US. We already have signed an agreement with a GPO. And if you understand the market, GPOs don't sign contracts until you're 3 years into the market. We already have agreement with Felma Ventures in South America, where they are funding completely the commercial operations. All of that to say that there is a demand, which is in the market ex-US. From a sales standpoint, as you can see, we're very busy. We'll be launching multiple products over the planning period, but we expect to reach peak sales in the US of $140 million. And so right now, we're currently raising $4.5 million as a safe, and the primary objective is to get quickly to a finish line, register the product, get the pre-built, and then we'll go through a Series A. Now, this is the added value. These needles that we showed you are optimized for our device. But if you have ever checked the list of SKUs, companies that manufacture needles, you have seen thousands. And so we are currently engaging with companies because we can actually partner with them to maximize our budget. So your investment right now basically would be doubled because this needle business is a $4.5 billion market. And we expect only to catch 3% of that market in this graph here. So I thank you very much for your attention. I invite you to join us. That's a new revolution. The first device that actually is roller-based and that really changed the way we suture. Thank you.